Greg Davidson, Rangitoto, and Mark down there. He's already won a few national titles with Westlake when he had Abercrombie and Rob Lowe and all those guys. So
absolutely. So what do the coaches do? Because the reality is, as you say, these players do know each other's game very well. And is it going to come down to who's the fittest, perhaps, or who gets the luck on the day?
Well, it possibly could be the latter, because you saw what happened last night. You know, Jaylen Gerrand absolutely tore it up, 40 on the night. You know, a couple of games before that, Roko had hit 45. So, you know, if those guards, they get high, it's going to be a huge matchup between them. And then you got some big boys out there. You know, you got Denham Brook, Isaiah Davidson and Ty Wynyard, huge, matched up against, you know, Jack Salt.
That's right, Josh Howe.
Josh Howe, and even
Matt Freeman's
Matt
out
Freeman.
there.
There's just some big boys. And if I was Judd Flavel picking a New Zealand under-19 team, I'd be quite happy in the men's side with all that size and talent.
Well, I hope he's watching this today, because this is going to be a very intriguing battle. And the interesting point for me is Ty Wynyard's actually taken the court after what looked to be a fairly serious injury yesterday.
Yes, well, playing us, they never really had to come back on, actually. They had a big lead early on. Started out 15-0 to start the game, and really, you know, as a coach, we just couldn't get back into it, and they just held us at bay for the rest of the game.
Well, he's just a very young man, and he's already down hard in the post.
That's the first call of the game, and probably an easy one for Ryan Jones there on the baseline, and stepped out of court.
So it goes down as a turnover, and in favour of Westlake getting the call on that occasion. Salt with the ball outside the three-point line.
Looking for that flex guard action on the baseline just to free up a post move. Gets it, bit of contact on the arm, but I would say they'll let him play.
Yeah, I would say so. And Denham Brook there with a big board. Another very talented player. And
starting the game well for Dad. You know. Start the sun, put him out there, and he hits the first three of the game.
So Isaac Davidson with the first three-pointer and the first points in this final here, 2013.
Reset of the feet. Shot, and that one's short. Actually never looked like going in.
Well, Gerrand, as you said before, after his 41 points last night, and can't get the first one to go.
Well, I mean, they're already seeing that, you know, Rangitoto are taking it at the Westlake defence. Westlake look a little sluggish.
They do look sluggish at the moment. And if we just go through the Westlake players there, we've got Matt Freeman guarding, and Gerrand with the hands up there, Jack Salt down low, Josh Howe with the rebound there, or attempted rebound, and
Denham Brook.
And Hunt rounding out the starting five for Westlake. So a very talented lineup there that Westlake have, and as you say, these guys all play against each other in the local competition in Auckland. Both teams obviously from the North Shore.
A lot of Breakers influence there.
Freeman with the first foul now.
We're talking about the Breakers. Luke there, named as one of the development players on the roster.
Yeah, Luke Wittevin.
You pronounced that reasonably well. Wittevin, maybe? I don't know. Wittevin.
Yeah. He's had another strong tournament too.
Both cover for three, no good. So in the early exchanges, it's been one of the only young kid, Isaac Davidson, New Zealand under-17, recently back from Australia after their win in game 3. Oh, nice block, Denham Brook. Gives him a towel too. He says, hey, baby, I'm here.
Well,
has the smarts to get the ball down low, popcorn. And a great start here, really, from Rangitoto. Only early 5 points, but you know, you just want to be able to start with that confidence.
Well, that's exactly right. Denham Brook playing both ends of the court there, gets a block down one end, comes back the other end and gets a two-pointer. And gets the foul called on Josh Howe. So great effort from him, starting the game well. The thing about these finals over the past few years is they tend to be a fairly dour affair as the pressure's on the players. There's a huge amount of expectation from their schools and coaching staff and the players themselves.
Oh, Wynyard doing a great job defensively against tall black Jack Salt. So
Salt showing a few moves there and just perhaps overcooking it a little.
Obviously giving up the outside, the perimeter shot.
Rukawa with the miss, can't get it to go, and didn't miss too many last night, that's for sure.
Raukawa, it's a good iwi that. Drone out of Otamoto College via Rosmini, now at Rangitoto.
And you'd like to think that he could pick up an NBL contract at some stage as well.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he's certainly a talented player. You know, he can shoot the ball well, whether he could do that in limited minutes off the bench or he takes a bit of time to get into his game. But this is his third shot, and there he goes, he drills it. 33% ain't bad from the three-point line.
Well, he never dies wondering, does he? He's, as we discussed last night, he's a very efficient scorer, and he likes to get into the game early, and if he's hot, they'll stay with him.
And right now, Gerrand can't answer the question. It's a 9-2 start. Certainly gives you a lot of confidence going into the game when you can score early. You execute your game plan, it gives you a lot of belief.
Another turnover for Rangitoto. It's whether they can convert at the other end for Westlake.
Got the block, but Denham following up and just gets an easy little bucket. You know?
Well, Denham again showing he's got some hops. He can get up and hunt with the putback.
A lot of contact there. Down to the basket, got bumped seriously, and you can see body twisting and turning, managed to get through and finish. Westlake very clinical on their inbounds.
You will running a box here and
pick for the picker here. Jack Salt and Howe working inside, giving him the opportunity. Just not really working for Westlake at the moment. They picked up a couple of junk buckets, but nothing really out of offense.
I'm surprised that Mark Jackson hasn't gone to a timeout to perhaps increase the intensity, but I guess he wants to just get into this game, let the players get into it, perhaps get some of that emotion out of the way. These players have had all day to think about it. This game, of course, 5:30 in the evening, and plenty of time to think about the prospects of this game and what it means.
Well, Freeman there picks up a second, so a forced substitution. Brings Briers onto the floor.
And another strong performer there from Westlake. I mean, Matt Freeman probably stands at 6'7" and is a three-man on the court.
Yeah, I mean, as I say, you know, there's a lot of talent in those boys there, and you know, the men's game's going from strength to strength, and now we can see that with those 17s, you know, getting that win over Australia and really competing really well in game 2, and potentially, you know, they were what, 6 points away from qualifying from the World Championships against a country that's ranked 5th in the world. So, you know, it bodes well.
You can draw a huge amount of confidence from that, as we see Davidson with the three-pointer, and
that's good. 16-4. Jackson sitting coolly on the bench. Just watching proceedings happen at the moment. Kind of know how that feels, you know. That's a 12-point lead. I know what it was like to be down 15-0.
Well, absolutely. Hard to pull back a fast start like this, though. You've got to work now for the whole game for Westlake to bring that back. Made a little start there with Josh Howe, and fortunately for them, Davidson can't convert, so the opportunity now for Westlake to take it back on offense.
I mean, it's a sports psychology minefield, high school sport, you know. Kids get up and get all up and down. They get so emotionally involved in the wins. You know, you have to think that, you know, Westlake getting their first win over Rosmini last night would have been huge for them, and, you know, the satisfaction they would have taken out of that. And then to think, oh, well, you know, we've beaten Rangitoto that many times, the shoe's on the other foot. And so you've got to think it's got to be mentally quite difficult and go up and down like that. And here see you at a lock coming on, and you would have seen the pictures on BB&Z website of him trying to kiss the ring. He was just short of kissing the ring, which isn't bad really from, I'm quite happy to touch it in these days, but kissing it, my goodness.
Well, he's certainly got a physique for basketball. He's long and lean.
Oh, missed there. Oh.
Bit of in with the ball in hand, and Davidson with another three. So, well, it's working well for Rangitoto at the moment.
Well, where the big sister wasn't prepared to shoot that shot early on in the game, the little brother certainly is, and he's really stroking it 3 from 3 from the three-point line. Great start here from Davidson. Double team there. Jack Salt, Howe with the rebound. Denham Brook picks up the foul.
Well, it was nice work from Howe. He certainly stayed with the game, and as the ball went up from Salt, he was able to get in there for that rebound and force the foul there from the bigs from Rangitoto. See Greg Davidson off the bench talking with his players.
Yeah, it's about keeping them upbeat, to play possession by possession. You get an early lead, and sometimes, if you let it whittle away or what have you, then, you lose that momentum. It's really important that, I guess, as a coach, you want to keep them going, keep the momentum going, keep playing them one possession by possession, not really worried about the outcome, just getting after it. A lot more pressure coming here on Davidson.
And he's double teamed down low and
gets out of it.
12 seconds left on the shot clock. Vitavan with the shot. Can't make that go. But again, Rangitoto able to get the offensive boards and just seem to be playing better basketball. A little bit more rotation on their offense.
Well, if you look down on the bench, and we might get a look at it in a timeout or something like that, there's only 4 kids sitting on the bench for Rangitoto. They only brought 9 down. So these kids have been playing a lot of minutes. Very talented. I think 7 of them play for New Zealand in different age groups.
Josh Howe can't get the little layup to go, under a fair bit of pressure, I might add, but ball out of court. Rangitoto ball again. Fair bit of contact there between Hunt and Rukawa.
I guess Hunt's probably sent out there and saying, keep the ball out of Rowan's hands. Well, Davidson, massive play there. Stood up, got the feet set, and I think he's right. And if you scroll back on your live stream, you'll see that he had his feet set, stood up straight, and got hit right in the chest, and that's a great call from Ryan Jones there.
Well, it's nice to see the defence being rewarded, because so many times they're not rewarded. And as coaches, we always preach defence first. So when it's rewarded like that, hopefully it makes players play defence harder in the future.
Hewitt with the outside shot. Didn't drop. And here, players don't realise you can actually pick that up. You're allowed to fumble it and pick it up. A fumble isn't a travel. A fumble isn't a, you're not going to get called for travelling if you fumble the basketball.
And it's cost them 2 points.
Yep.
Just that lack of attention to detail. And Davidson, the benefactor at the opposite end, for another quite easy layup.
Foul called. Is that on Brook? That'll be his second. Wynyard will have to check back in.
Well, I think we're just seeing there again, Josh Howe probably should have put that ball in the hoop, because it's hard to know whether they would have called that as continuation and perhaps gone for a 3-point play. So a little bit disappointing there. He is struggling a little underneath the hoop.
There are some big boys under there. They certainly change his shot. And, they're throwing a few at you, Rangitoto. They certainly looked after Sam Timmins from my school when we played them in the semis. Having 2 of them, and Sammy beaten 1, and then there was another one there was a bit tough for him, so he had to come outside to get a shot. So
we should be reminding the viewers, though, that Josh has just come back from Jakarta.
Yes. Where
he was part of the New Zealand 3-on-3 team that played in the World Championships. So it's not that he hasn't been playing basketball at a higher level.
No.
And Wynyard Just the young fellow from Rangitoto just cuts strongly to the hoop and gets the, a really nice basket there. Just, and there's the continuation I was talking about. And Jaylen Gerrand is going to go to the line. The basket will count, and he will go for a one shot to add another single point to the 12 already on the board for Westlake. Currently behind 23-12 with a minute 38 to go in this first quarter.
Well, Coach Mark Jackson seems very relaxed.
He does seem very relaxed.
Davidson using a position I'm more accustomed, standing on the sideline. Roko, a tough shot.
Yeah.
Shooting over the hump there. Probably could get a better look than that out of the offense. And a tough shot from Hunt over the top of you at a look. We know can get right up above the square on the backboard.
So both teams come to this final after having relatively comfortable semi-final wins. Westlake overcoming Rosmini yesterday relatively comfortably, and Rangitoto overcoming Otago Boys High by a similar sort of a margin.
Yeah.
So you would have to say the best two teams from the tournament in the final, or the teams that have paced themselves the best. As we see Jaylen, who couldn't miss yesterday.
Yes, that's right. And what a difference a day makes. Although I'm sure if he can get a roll going like he did yesterday, then he'll be able to fill it up. But it's about getting that feeling, I guess. Getting that timing on your shot in front of all these people. Crowd not really getting into it at this stage.
No. Perhaps looking for one last shot here in the quarter.
No differential, so this will be the last shot. Jack Salt not getting the roll in.
A good hustle there.
1.8 seconds. Long one, is it close? Ooh.
So the final shot of the quarter rounds it out, and currently Westlake 25, Rangitoto 25, Westlake 12 at the end of the first quarter.
Joel, promising basketballer, would love to know the secret of nailing three-pointers. At Powerade, we decided today was that day.
Joel, how are you, buddy? Wow. Kirk Penny, good to meet you, mate. Let's do it. All right, let's see what you got.
Even at practice, you've got to stay hydrated. Powerade replaces lost fluids fast to help you perform at your peak for longer.
So you ready to hear my secret now?
Welcome back to the Arena Manawatu for the Secondary School National Championships here in New Zealand. 2013 Rangitoto College versus Westlake. Currently Brent Matahari, Rangitoto filling up the score sheet, 25 points, and really just shooting a good percentage, playing some solid basketball. And it's hard to know what Westlake are going to do now to combat the advantage that Rangitoto currently have.
Yeah, well, Rangitoto shooting 53%, 9 of 17 from the floor. And probably more importantly, they're 4 of 10 from the three-point line. On the back of Isaac Davidson, who's 3 of 5. So, he's feeling it from out there. We saw a lot of three-pointers going in from Gerrand yesterday, from Westlake, not really getting it going. They're struggling there, shooting 4 of 17 and it's showing on the scoreboard. And you'd be pretty happy with your defense holding a team to 12 points in the quarter. Howard just bullying his way to the hoop, really.
Yeah, he did, and that's perhaps what they've got to do. They've just got to be a little bit more concerted effort around the hoop. They haven't been able to convert some of those opportunities up until this point. So it looked like Westlake had gone back into his zone at that stage, and again, we're wondering what Coach Mark Jackson can actually do to stem the flow of Rangitoto, but that's one way to stem the flow, is to actually put a few in yourself, create a little bit of scoreboard pressure.
I see Jack Stent made it onto the court just then, waving the towel.
Well, that's the thing about schoolboy basketball, is the passion, and a lot of it comes from the bench as well. They're all teammates, and
they all know each other.
So immediately we're seeing, is that a full court press we're seeing here?
I think it's an extended man-to-man.
And Jack Salt with the rebound after a pretty tough shot there.
Well, when they played in pool play, when these two teams played in pool play, obviously a tough pool, which you were part of, but it ended up in a three-way tie, and the differential that basically ousted Tauranga Boys High School was .0004, somewhere like around that. And this is what Rangitoto did in the fourth quarter. They were no passes in their offense for like 10 to 12 sets. And you've just seen the last three possessions, they've made one pass.
Yep.
And if they end up being one-on-one team, they aren't going to get it done for them. One-on-one is not going to get, one-on-two is not going to get it done for them. They need to continue what they're doing, get ball movement, get the ball moving, because now it's a 6-point lead. It was 13.
That's exactly right. And I'm sure Greg Davidson will be reminding his players of sticking to the offense, stick to the game plan. It's important, obviously, when these boys are out there playing, the emotion takes over, and we've already talked about the emotion that at this level. And you don't want your players thinking that they can win it on their own, because very seldom they can.
This does take that team effort.
Again, we're seeing basically
two passes.
Two passes, and a turnover there.
Jack Salt with the follow.
Well, and great to see the big man getting down the court. Ewart a lot, never got over halfway, coming back in defence. So,
no wonder Mark Jackson was sitting there coolly.
Well, perhaps he knew what was just around the corner.
Was there any passes in that offense, Coach?
None. And none on that one either, though. So they're both trading baskets with transition offences. And what we're seeing now is Greg Davidson immediately wanting to have a chat to his team. So the score's now level just after 2.5 minutes of basketball in this second quarter. 25 all. Rangitoto haven't been able to add to their first quarter score of 25. And Mark Jackson hasn't even sat down with his players yet. He's just letting their energy and enthusiasm take them through this timeout. He'll just remind them of the good things that they're doing. And they need to get back out there and carry on in the same vein that they're going through at the moment.
So Davidson's not running plays at the moment. He's not talking about plays, but, well, maybe he is. I can't really see, but he may be. I would be talking about the number of passes, because in 5 possessions he's made 2 passes.
Yeah.
And you've got to get ball movement. They had ball movement early on in the game. Westlake's playing a man-to-man now. They're not playing that in zone. So you've got to get ball movement, screen action. Obviously set up players so they then have the opportunity to go one-on-one with a defender running at them, rather than the defense standing, you get the ball on the catch, or being able to play straight up one-on-one and knowing your help side's there. And, some of the help sides for Westlake is pretty athletic and pretty tall. So,
I think if you look at this Rangitoto team and look at their strengths, I mean, they've got Davidson, who can shoot the 3, and Ruakawa, who can shoot the 3, but Gerrand, he's such an athlete, and you would imagine that one-on-one he could beat his player. So get the ball movement to get him coming hard back against the defence, and he's going to be hard to stop anywhere. Ewart a lot is a big man that can sit down in that low post, and it has some good skills around the hoop. So again, there are different strengths that both teams have, and I'm sure Davison has decided he needs to get them to work to those strengths. But again, we're only seeing a one-pass offence there as Vitavan takes it to the hoop.
And he was double-teamed.
Yep.
And he was double-teamed by Howe, who came across and, you know, put his big frame in the way of Vitavan and really, you know, it was a tough shot. Gerrand looking for the quick step, the floater. Easy money. At least they got inside-outside action through the defence in.
They don't seem to be running too many offences, do they?
And that's not going to get it done for you, Rangitoto.
Well, I think the last play that Ahmet made last night was a three-point shot, and maybe he felt he's feeling it and came out first touch for a three-pointer today. Didn't happen for him.
Yeah, it was kind of a shot to the heart, that one, when one of the bench players come on and shoot a three in the last seconds of the game, really, when they're dribbling it out. But anyway, doesn't make any difference when it's not pool play, because a win's a win and a loss is a loss. So you either progress or you don't. Inside-out action. Oh. Salt, a fair amount of contact underneath. Although Hewitt really doesn't probably tip the scales more than about 80, 90 kgs for his size. And easy to move. Josh, Big Howe just bustling his way to the basket and getting the call, putting more foul pressure on Rangitoto. They're bringing in Denham Brook, who's already on 2.
And Cutfield is making his first appearance in the game as well. He's going to take Vitavan out. So
Wynyard, who's also on 2, checking back into the game.
So Greg Davidson, the Rangitoto coach, needing to just go down the bench and look for some answers here.
Oh, it's a 17-0 run.
Yep. 4 minutes of basketball without a score. And I think as coaches, we all know what that's like, and it's hard to deal with. And you go searching for questions on your bench, and sometimes it comes off and sometimes it doesn't.
And as we said, it's not a deep bench.
And perhaps they need to up the intensity as well.
Well, coming off the bench, Cutfield hits the 3.
And he's performed pretty well actually in this tournament. One of the bench players for Rangitoto. See,
that is way too easy. Nice seal by Salt.
Nice seal, great seal. And I think Wynyard just showed his inexperience here. He's just a young man. Hard to believe at, what is he, 6'8", 6'9", that he's only as young as he is.
What is that? Is he, I heard 14.
14 or 15. And when you've got 14 or 15-year-olds that are standing at 6'9", I think there's... New Zealand basketball is going to have some great stocks in the future.
Oh, and that hurts me. I was asking for that call all day yesterday.
Gerrand, yeah, gets called with the charge there, which again is rewarding the defence. If the defender is standing chest on and the offensive player bumps him off, pushes him off, the offensive foul will be called. Legitimate foul called by the referee on that occasion. And for his troubles, Ruakawa goes to the bench.
Well, Ruakawa really just, I guess it would be frustration.
Yeah.
You know, that someone's there in front of him and he couldn't get through. And Wynyard says very politely, please don't come in here like that again. Although he didn't say anything,
he just
very politely just threw that into the stands.
Well, he maintained his intensity, which is always good to see. And I think Coach Jackson, he's going to have a timeout now and talk with his players. And they've extended their lead, 28-34 now, with 4.5 minutes, just over 4.5 minutes to go in this final at the Secondary Schools Nationals 2013 out of Arena Manawatu.
Well, I think we're going to see a press out here. Ruakawa's obviously off the court. That leaves them without a legitimate point guard. I'd say Vitavan will play the point and Cutfield will, help there. But if he can exert some pressure, in the full court and maybe pick up a couple of steals and get some energy going. Whether he makes subs to do that, I'm not sure. Has he got a smaller lineup out there? You know, possibly he's got... You can't really tell who he's got on the floor, but I can't see the board, but you know, that's potentially something he would be doing just to get a little bit of another separation and score, create a couple of turnovers and put the pressure right back on Rangitoto to have to bring Raukawa back on the floor and expend more energy.
You want to see Matt Freeman, who is an integral part of the win last night, is sitting on the bench with 2 fouls and hasn't come back onto the court.
Well, he doesn't need to have him on the floor. He doesn't need to risk him having 3.
No.
3, you know, picking up his 3rd. You know, he's come back in the game. He's leading by 6. You know, you don't need it. If you can survive those minutes with your players on the bench and still be going along nicely, then you don't need to force the issue in terms of putting yourself under pressure foul-wise. And Howe gets a great tip and rebound. There's some big boys playing in there. Salt, Wynyard.
Well, Salt's working extremely hard down below, down on that paint, just to get a good shot away, and has been able to do so on a couple of occasions. But
great double team down there, Vitavan.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Wynyard playing straight up on him.
Both players probably sitting at about 120 odd kilos, so there's some big bodies in there.
Bit of pressure here. Forced to lob out the Salt. Got to see that. Ooh. Allowed him to catch and the look.
So Greg Vickets is in the game, and
wow.
Hugo with a
probably not the shot
airball
Jackson was looking for.
No.
And probably not the shooter he was looking for either, but you know, I guess the shot clock running down, you got to do it. And there's what I said, full court pressure coming from Jackson's team. And it's his bench players coming out and putting extended pressure on. So he's not exerting Gerrand, you know, in the full court. He's exerting that, you know, using the bench to put the effort in. No call there. A dribble between 2 players, never get much love from a referee at that stage.
And Dylan Brook, and that must, I think, be about his 4th block for the game.
And I think blocks on. I think, yeah, Jaylen Gerrand might be leading the league at that one at the moment.
Yep.
He's got a smile on his face about it, though, because he gets possession, gets a chance to shoot the 3, and same result 2 times in a row from Westlake.
Nothing but the baseline. But again, we're seeing this full court pressure. So Westlake looking to up their intensity and, as you said before, extend that lead or really keep the pressure on Rangitoto.
A lot of contact, first from the player guarding Davidson and then from the help and Howe. I would consider that a little bit of a disadvantage as I was going to the hoop. But Denham Brook just not trying not to foul, pick up his 3rd, which makes him really ineffectual in there once they catch the ball and he's in the charge block zone.
Well, it's quite a disadvantage to have those couple of fouls early in the game, isn't it? But nice work from Brook, but can't make that go either. And Howe with another rebound, and he's stepped up his game a little in this second quarter.
We've got 1 field goal in 8 minutes and 17 seconds from Rangitoto. 1 field goal.
And they're not really exerting that offensive pressure down low either by...
it's 22-3 this quarter.
Salt looked at the basket from beyond the arc, but no one took him seriously.
Oh. Gerrand arguing who got the touch on that. And I would say him pulling his hands away, he might be right. I didn't actually see it, but...
So the ball with Cutfield outside the arc, and he's shot the 3, can't get it to go. Josh Howe with the rebound, and we're seeing Jaylen Gerrand now with the ball for Westlake. Man-to-man pressure coming here from Rangitoto. And Ruakawa with a nice tip, runaway layup, and gets it to go in the face of Matt Freeman. Matt Freeman already on 2 fouls, wouldn't want to have picked up a third on that occasion. So Jack Salt sets the screen and Gerrand gets free into Salt. Salt working hard to get that position against Ty Wynyard. Nice little fadeaway and can't get that to go. So again, we're seeing the offensive struggles in the paint from both teams. Interestingly, very few fouls being called, but currently Rangitoto on 4 team fouls. Westlake, the cleanest team in the league by this stage, they haven't fouled at all in this whole quarter.
And they didn't foul much yesterday either. There was 3 fouls in the game or something like that. Davidson going to a timeout. And as I say, well, he's made 2 field goals this quarter now. So it's 5 points. It's
30-38 in favour of Westlake.
26-5 in the quarter.
Yeah.
That's not, you have a quarter like that, it's not going to get it done.
Well, we've got 1 minute and 20 to go in this half, and with both teams in the 30s, Westlake on 48, you know, they're potentially on their way to scoring another 80 to 90 points, and that's always tough to hold.
Yeah, that's right. And I mean, really, you know, the scoring options from Rangitoto have just dried up. And, you know, they went to their 1-pass game, one-on-one game, and that didn't work from the other night when they lost by 11 in pool play, and it won't work again tonight. Unless they get that ball movement, get the defense running at them, they won't have that chance. And, you know, coming up at halftime, there's going to be interviews with Tom Abercrombie, Jack Salt, Ruben Tarangi, and Corey Webster talking about, I guess, pathways through the Tall Blacks and pathways and options for them. So that'll be an interesting listen.
Yeah, absolutely. And all of those players are relatively recent through this tournament.
Definitely.
Jack Salt, of course, here now. So,
well, Abercrombie was a winner, and I guess the tournament was in the Hawke's Bay, and you know, Westlake beating Mana in that final quite easily, and you know, Jack Salt actually playing in this game. Ruben Tarangi has played here with Grammar, and Corey Webster a couple of times winners with Westlake, so they've all made that transition into the Tall Blacks. Still not another basket there. Oh, little sneaky one from behind, Denham-Brook. Maybe the transition game's where they're going to get something.
Bitterman looks very comfortable on the ball, doesn't he? He just looks...
yeah.
Much like a lot of these players from Rangitoto. Nice work from Hunt, though. Perhaps not quite so comfortable on the ball, but a very strong player, plays great defence, and just a real hustler.
And you look at Okawa walking up the court after making that effort on defence.
Well, to me, that just...
Oh, he gets it, though.
Cutfield
gets the 3. That's a second in the quarter, and really, he's been really the only one that scored anything substantial.
Well, Cutfield's really only averaging about 8 points a game. So to come into this and throw down a couple of threes, that's a great effort.
Well, here's a chance. You've got 10.4 seconds. You've had an absolutely terrible quarter to score another bucket and to go into the half. Down 3. Oh, no.
And the turnover.
And you get the turnover. And it could swing the other way and you'd be down 7. Yep. So Westlake finished a really strong quarter. It's only been down 7, 20 minutes to go, 40-33.
Joel, promising basketballer, would love to know the secret of nailing three-pointers. At Powerade, we decided today was that day.
Joel, how are you, buddy?
Wow.
Kirk Penny, good to meet you, mate. Still, all right, let's see what you got.
Even at practice, you've got to stay hydrated. Powerade replaces lost fluids fast to help you perform at your peak for longer.
So you ready to hear my secret now?
I spent 2 years at Washington State, and it was an interesting experience. My first year I redshirted, which is where you train with the team and you travel. You just don't get to play any games, and you get another year of eligibility. And coming from high school over here, where we finished in November, and it effectively meant I didn't play any basketball for about a year and a half. And then my second year, I sat on the bench a lot. So it was basically 2.5 years of really not playing much basketball, and I guess my enthusiasm for the game and things took a little bit of a hit after that, and I wanted to get in a situation where I knew I was going to enjoy myself and play a lot again, so that's why I decided to come home rather than transferring to another college and having to sit out another year, and it's all worked out for the best.
It certainly seems to have, yeah, with the time of the breakers and everything. What would your advice be to people in terms of, them looking at prospective scholarships, like Jack here, for instance?
Yeah, I mean, I've spoken to Jack before, and it's a tricky process that you go through, because these guys are recruiting you and telling you everything you want to hear, and it's very hard to know what you're going to get into until you actually get there. I think my first piece of advice was that be very careful if you decide to redshirt. For me, it was the worst thing I could have done, but just because, like I said, I sat there for a year not playing, and there's only so much you can get out of training and practicing. The best way to get better is to actually be out there playing. So knowing that you're going into a situation where you're going to get to play a lot, I think is the most important thing. And then being somewhere where you feel comfortable. I was in a pretty boring sort of town in the middle of nowhere. You miss home and those sorts of places. You miss the beach and all that kind of thing. So being in some nice surroundings and just doing your research and talking to as many people as possible, those are the most important things.
Yeah, it's a big risk when you go to college. A lot of factors to take in, like players, coaches, but you just really have to do your research and ask a lot of people, because they're going to make their school sound nice. So you just got to do the best research you can to make sure you're going to the right school and the right situation for you. Yeah. Yeah,
and have you got you've spoken to Tom? Have you got other people that you've spoken to about it?
Yeah, I've spoken to lots of people, high school coaches, breakers coaches, just everyone, family. So I've got a lot of help. So it's good.
Yeah. And of course, Jack could just stay and play for the breakers, couldn't he, Tom? Now,
absolutely.
Have you been leaning heavily on him one way or the other, or what?
I think he's had quite a few people in his ear about all sorts of things. I mean, it's an exciting time for him. He's got a lot of choices, which is what you want to have, and there's not really any bad decision he can make at this point. Obviously, we would love to have him at the Breakers. We can see what a talent he is, and it's great that he's going to be here as a development player this year and buy himself a bit more time to make that decision, and hopefully he enjoys it so much that he doesn't want to leave.
I went to college for a year, decided to come back and play with the Breakers. They recruited me before I left, but I decided to go over and give it a shot. And I did well, won a couple accolades over there, got Freshman of the Year in my conference and stuff, so it was going well. But just sort of decided I wanted to start making money. So I don't know if it was the right or wrong idea. It is what it is. I don't regret it, I got to experience both. Breakers is a great pathway for kids to look up to now. Obviously, the winning helps and being a championship club. But, it's college isn't always the thing for some people. Some people, I don't know, whether they don't like the environment, or they get a bit homesick, or they just don't like doing the university schoolwork or whatever. Now there's another option to take the Breakers pathway, and it's good for the young kids to look up to.
Yeah.
At the moment, I'm stuck with the Breakers. It's a good thing, but they gave me the option to either go to college or stay here in New Zealand, and I thought they've developed me all this way, and I can probably keep improving, being here with my family and having that support from the breakers and my family. But yeah, I thought it was a long, hard decision with my family, and we came to the final decision that I'd stay here and play and represent for the breakers, which is kind of working out for me over this past year. Yeah.
Cool.
This program is all about becoming a student athlete. Anybody here know what I mean when I say the word student athlete?
Joel, promising basketballer, would love to know the secret of nailing three-pointers. At Powerade, we decided today was that day.
Joel, how are you, buddy? Kirk Penny, good to meet you, mate. Still, all right, let's see what you got.
Even at practice, you've got to stay hydrated. Powerade replaces lost fluids fast to help you perform at your peak for longer.
So you ready to hear my secret now?
The Arena Manawatu here for the 2013 Secondary Schools National Championships of Basketball between Westlake High and Rangitoto College. Both teams coming out of North Auckland. And I'm with Brent Matahari, Tony Barnett here with Brent Matahari, coach of Otago boys. Brent, we're seeing a hard-fought first half of basketball, which Westlake has been able to hold Rangitoto off 40 points for 33. So how do you see the second half going?
Well, I mean, you could say it's been a game of two quarters so far. Rangitoto really having the edge in the first quarter, and then Westlake coming back and just outscoring them hugely in the second. You know, it was a 28-8 quarter for Westlake. I mean, Westlake will be feeling confident. You know, they've beaten Rangitoto a few times, and if Rangitoto don't get into their offense, then they're going to really struggle. And you got to say that, you know, from here, I'll be saying if Westlake can continue on what they're doing, then Rangitoto's going to struggle. But yeah,
well, I mean, a good point. And the thing about this tournament, we see some fantastic young players, and during the halftime break, we were also able to witness some interviews with some players.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you look at the pathways that players take, and we talked about it in the women's game as well. A lot of players see the world of basketball in terms of you know, going to the States as the holy grail and getting over there and getting that US experience. And you know, you had Thomas Abercrombie, who obviously spent a bit of time up in you know, Washington, and Jack Salt, who's on his way there now and is getting the best of both worlds in terms of being a Breakers development player, obviously playing amateurly, and then going to Virginia. Ruben Tarangi, who's going to break his way the whole way, and Corey Webster, who spent a year at university, but you know, has chosen to come back and be with the Breakers. So, you know, the pathways are now there to reach the top in basketball in the men's game. The women's game, not so much, with only having WBC here, but with the men, with the Breakers Academy, players seeing that there's a pathway, I guess, to be a professional athlete, gives them opportunities, and I guess opens their eyes to the world that they can actually go and make a decent living, and like a seriously decent living playing the game they love.
Absolutely, and I guess our most high-profile basketballer of recent times, Stephen Adams, went to Pitt University and spent 1 year there. And
yeah, one and done.
One and done, straight into the NBA, and will probably end up being the highest paid sportsman in New Zealand before too long. So
yeah, well, I mean, you know, Kenny McFadden, obviously, you know, the New Zealand Basketball Academy, you know, he's been running that for a while, and you know, the tutelage he gave, you know, Stephen, in terms of, you know, you saw him over at the, you know, over at, obviously the, you know, the selection process for the NBA spots. He was there with them. He's been working with them. He's working with players, and you know, he runs massive camps, takes groups over to Vegas to experience basketball and put them in front of, you know, I guess college scouts. But as you know, Jack Salt and Abercrombie, you know, Tom Abercrombie was saying, do your research. You know, if you want to get over there, make sure the school that gives you an offer has the program, has the you know, the place that you want to be. As a basketball player, because if it doesn't work out, you ended up, you know, having your 1 year experience, which might not be as positive as you hope, and you end up coming back. So, you know, I guess home's always there for us, but you want to get out there and experience, and you just hope it's a good one.
Absolutely.
Well, the half's really started pretty quietly, isn't it?
It certainly has. We've seen about 30 seconds of basketball go, and no addition to the score. A couple of plays at both ends of the court. Jack Salt picking up a good hustle play there, and Westlake regaining possession. Freeman on the ball now. Nice little fadeaway shot, and drills the two. So
that's a tough shot, right? Davidson right in his grill.
A year 11 out of Westlake, standing at about 6'7", and he's playing some great basketball for a young man. Fairly slight build, but he's got some great skills, and could be one of those players for the future.
Already, right there, you saw more action in that one play from Rangitoto than you saw in the second quarter. They ran basically a handoff on ball, whatever it was, coming around, flare screen action, which sounds like my offense, and then had a nice open shot on the wing.
Well, in response, Jaylen Gerrand, he just went down and just nailed the two in the paint.
There's your one-on-one action. You know, Roko are getting it done now. He's feeling it. He said to me yesterday as they were winning that game, back-to-back, baby. But I said, isn't that a different school, mate? But no, he's going after it now. He obviously sees, he tastes victory before. He wants it again.
Freeman taking it upon himself to get this offense going for Westlake.
Oh, gets the pass. Vitamin through the arms of Jack Salt.
Yeah,
and they're coming back into it. Now it's a 4-point ball game.
Isaac Davidson hitting the, coming from the weak side.
This is what you get with school kids, you know. They just laid it up that end. You come down, you throw up a, you know, Gerrand throws up a shot over Denham, and the flow goes the other way. And here we go, another one, no pass shot. So, oh, big screen there from Howe. Trying to force the issue, creating the contact. Great no call. Referee Ryan Jones. 3-on-1, missed by Denham Brook. Oh.
Yeah, that's a coach killer, that one.
It'd be worse if Freeman had come down and made that basket. This is end-to-end stuff. 1-on-1, here we go. Brook on Jack Salt. Salt gets a bit of help from Freeman.
Well, I've been impressed with Freeman. He's been up and down the court. In all the games I've watched Westlake play, he's very active up and down the court for a big man.
And that'll be Wynyard's third personal. And Hewitt a lot comes in, obviously, straight for him. Just run through some of the stats. Obviously, you can pick them up on live stats from the BBNZ website as well, but you got Davidson on 13, Roko 19 points. And for Westlake, Gerrand's got 20, Howe 14. And Howe, well, actually Jack Salt's leading the rebounds for Westlake with 9. Ty Wynyard in really limited minutes. Well, he's supposed to play at 18, but you know, he's got 10 rebounds. He's a big boy.
He is a big boy.
Still growing, you think?
Well, he probably is. Yeah, he probably is.
That's a few loaves of bread every day, isn't it?
Yep. I'm sure the food bill in that household would be relatively high. So we should remind the viewers that 24 teams at this national championship, And, these two teams have come through tough pool play.
5 games in pool play.
Yep, 4 pools of 6. And this particular, both these two teams coming out of Pool 2, Westlake boys, Rangitoto, Tauranga boys, Hutt Valley, Nelson College and Massey College from Auckland. So a tough pool, and for both of these two teams to come from the one pool is a little bit unusual.
Not unheard of.
Not unheard of. And Tauranga boys would be feeling a little bit aggrieved at their position because they beat Westlake and they had an overtime game with Rangitoto. And when they wanted to play, Tauranga boys were a tough side. So a big shout out to them. I know that they're watching this game live streaming tonight, and it would have to be said that there was over 2,000 views live streaming in last night's semi-final. So,
it's fantastic, and obviously, having this live stream, parents can be at home watching the game, fans of the game can see, obviously the top talent. Oh, the travel.
Yeah, I mean,
nice finish, but yeah, it certainly was a travel.
It's a great point. I mean, and we should also say thanks to all the parents that have made their way, though, to this tournament, supporting their kids playing the game. And, there's been a number of parents been involved in washing and cooking, and you can just imagine, I'm sure, the effort that goes in.
Oh, a little bit of triangle action. Nice. Oh. This is certainly a bump after the shot. Good no call, though. Hands on there.
We watched
ball went straight to the ground, so definitely hit the ball.
We watched
these. Great smarts. Oh, you got to finish that. Oh, would have been 2 chances
to
take the game back to a 2-point ball game. Can't make it. That's 2 just little layups, and you need that stuff to go in when you're playing in a final and you're down 4 points. You need those swings. Extended pressure here from Rangitoto. Obviously seeing Gerrand off the floor, maybe they can get some pressure on Sloan there.
Nice skills from Sloan. Playing in the point now as we see Howard just comes across the free throw line. Too easy.
Don't know how close your camera was on that angle, but terrible finish on the shot there from Howe. Roko are given a bit of room to move, but runs into Big Jack Salt. Look, we'll just run through some of the positionings. Obviously, right down the bottom, and Hamilton Boys High School obviously are good at rugby and hockey, but their basketball, finishing down the bottom there in the wooden spoon area.
Well, I mean, you say that, but to actually get to this tournament, I mean, 24 teams here, but there were about 100 teams trying to qualify for this tournament throughout the country. So
that's right, Coach.
We talk about teams perhaps not being as accomplished as others at this tournament, but the reality is once you get here, you can play ball.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, we had record numbers entering the tournament right across all the premierships. Fantastic event. Schools putting themselves out there during tournament week to get up here, and BBNZ's looking to make some changes maybe, or maybe they won't make changes, and it's all right up in the air. But I think the key thing is this is the marquee tournament. In terms of as a young man or a young woman at your school, this is the one they play for because they've been working with their mates for so long. Age groups is probably a different field. This is the one that,
this
I
is
guess
the
more feeling in it, the passion, yeah.
That's right. And we see Freeman knocking down a 3. So Hamilton boys bottom of the table along with Avondale.
Yeah, Avondale 23rd. Massey out of Auckland finished 22nd. Middleton Grange out of Christchurch in 21st. Then we move up. St Kitts. In 20th was Christchurch boys. Lincoln, also from Christchurch, finished 19th, playing each other probably about the 17th time sometime this season. And 17th, bottom of the, top of the bottom 8 was Hutt Valley beating St Kentigans. In the middle 8, Western Heights was 16th, Napier boys.
And it was great to see
15th.
Western Heights here this year.
Right.
I mean, I think the first time they've been to this tournament. So, and that's what happens. The teams can come in here for the first time, and you have to come to this tournament to understand how it works.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, there's 3 girls teams out of Dunedin that qualified and never came. And I know they'll be thinking, oh yeah, we'll be here next year. But you know what? If you don't see what's going on, you don't know the intensity. And you know, you talk about the intensity and the heat of that hangar yesterday in the other arena, and you know, it's all on in there, and it's not for the faint-hearted, is it?
Certainly not when players of 6'10" to 7 foot are out there, and which is hard to believe they're still schoolboys.
That's right.
So going through some of those other players,
so then
other teams.
Yeah, then it's you know, in the top of that that middle eight is, you know, Auckland Grammar 9th.
Western Heights and and Napier Boys, Murray Barker's team out of Napier Boys.
Yeah, 15th there. St John's Hamilton, my old school, 13th over Tauranga Boys, and yes, you know, you've got to feel for Murray Clark, the coach. And then to go right down there, so obviously sometimes things don't go your way and it all falls apart. Been there, done that, Muzzer, hard luck.
New Plymouth?
Yeah, New Plymouth. Yeah, New Plymouth at 12, and your school, Nelson College, obviously getting Finn Delaney back late in the tournament.
It was a nice addition to the team, and it worked well for us.
Yeah, obviously he's a class player, and you certainly missed him earlier on in the tournament.
Palmerston North next.
Palmerston North here in 10th place, and Auckland Grammar probably, you know, showing their class. I mean, they were in our pool and they were a little bit up and down and what have you, but they, you know, finishing 9th.
And 9th is a great place to finish. It means you win your last 3 games in the tournament.
That's right, you do, and you get a good feeling out of it. So
probably a little bit better feeling than poor old Nayland, who finished 8th, you know, in the top 8, and fantastic effort to get into that top 8 for Nayland from Nelson.
Yeah.
And I know they're here today watching this final, but finishing in 8th.
It's a bit hard to shoot home, isn't it, down to Nelson?
Absolutely.
Just like us down in Dunedin, it's a bit hard to just sort of get in the car and lick your wounds and go home. But there's Jack Salt, certainly an outside jumper. And Hastings Boys, obviously the team we beat in the quarterfinals. You know,
and they're a tough side.
They were a tough side. Yeah.
Ably coached by Curtis Wooten, who's been around for a long time and doing this schoolboy basketball. He had some great players in that team.
He did. He certainly did. And they came out and got after it in that game.
Just like
after being down 20. Well, that's right. You know, it's a 3-point ball game. We've sort of been talking about it. It's been going up and down, up and down. No real sort of dominance. And he finally gets one to roll for him.
I think he was expecting a call there for a foul. So
Fraser getting up. Old Jeff still doing his thing for 5th over St Pat's, who were really unlucky. When you look at, you know, we were in the same pool. We lost a really close game by 4, 88-84, and then you know, expecting we wanted to stay away from Rosmini. Well, we did, because Hastings beat them when there was a rolled ankle. So, you know, that closes out the 5th and 6th position. And then, well, I enjoyed it. It was a great game. You know, everybody played in a 3rd and 4th game today, the one you don't really want to have to play in. But, you know, we had a lot of fun, and, you know, it was a 2-point ball game. Could have won it on the last shot, but wasn't to be. But, no, fantastic game between Rosmini and Otago Boys. And, you know, I'm really proud of my team coming out of the South Island and as second seeds. And, you know, coming up here to finish 4th against the big guns and really taking it to, you know, Rosmini, who are one of the top teams of the country.
Oh, absolutely. And you know, it's great to see a South Island team performing so well, because it's been a while since South Island teams that were, I mean, when a while, it's been just a few years.
Nayland's been there and thereabouts.
Nayland has.
Yeah, over the last few years. So, you know, they've had a strong program with all those Dempsters. Oh, not much of a call going there. And here it is coming to the quarter. We've talked through the tournament. Only one game to talk about, and that's the final now, and it'll be the last quarter with 1.7 seconds to go. Westlake leading by 3.
So Westlake have just continued to truck along in this quarter quite nicely. We're seeing Salt get the tip in there, final play.
Well, I mean, I guess we haven't had too much to talk about.
Foul there called on Cutfield, and I think we're going to see Gerrand go to the line to shoot 2. So opportunity with, as you said, 1.5 seconds left on the clock. They wouldn't have been expecting to get this opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting one, and if you had the opportunity to go back and just scroll back through the streaming, you could see what was for yourself. But, man, I guess a tough situation. You get right back in the game, and it's a close 1-point game, and then you give up a basket and then a turnover and a foul and the potential to go 5 up for Westlake. You know, you come back and Rangitoto probably had a reasonably good quarter right up until this last sort of 10 seconds.
You'd have to say, though, that the final seems a little flat at the moment. You know, there's...
Yeah, but it's close enough to get exciting.
Absolutely. It really will.
And Gerrand gets a block shot back.
So with the final attempted shot there in the quarter by Vitavan, not successful. 50 points to Rangitoto, 55 to Westlake as we go now into the final quarter of this final here at 2013 Nationals.
Joel, promising basketballer, would love to know the secret of nailing three-pointers. At Powerade, we decided today was that day.
Joel, how are you, buddy? Kirk Penny, good to meet you, mate. Still, all right, let's see what you got.
Even at practice, you've got to stay hydrated. Powerade replaces lost fluids fast to help you perform at your peak for longer.
So you ready to hear my secret now?
We welcome you back to Arena Manawa 2. You're with Tony Barnett and Brent Matahari for the Secondary School National Championships Basketball 2013. Westlake High and Rangitoto College. Both teams performing pretty well here in what is a hard-fought final. Not the flashy play that we've seen through some of the round robin and semi-final action, but more a hard graft, and some of that goes with final basketball.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you've got to take your opportunities in the finals, and just saw a couple of plays in that quarter where, you know, the Rangitoto had layups or, you know, sort of uncontested shots or, you know, contested, you know, 2-footers, and really those are the ones you've got to put away in your final game, because you'll look back on them and say, if we'd only made those, we would have been won and things. So I think this is going to go down to the wire. It's going to take some special play. Ooh, and that's a bit of a change because there wasn't much on-ball contact called earlier in the game. Obviously letting them play, but riding the hip is not allowed.
Well, immediately we were seeing a little bit more defensive intensity from Westlake.
Well, it's got to happen. Both teams have got to get after it. This is the national championship. Somebody wants it.
There's strong contact there, and the referee's playing advantage.
Davidson takes a long time to shoot that. Wynyard. Interesting call now. I think it was the hold on Hewitt a lock by number 32. Pierre Antoni.
Yes, Ugo. He's, we could perhaps have a look at his stats and see what he's been scoring. Seven points a game. So, fairly athletic young man. And it's been waved off.
Yeah, also sure it's a rebound foul. So I think the foul on was actually not the person shooting the basketball. So a good decision made there by Ryan Jones.
Should also remember that the referees have performed particularly well at this tournament. I haven't had too many complaints.
I'll stay silent.
Well,
No, they have. And I mean, they're under the scrutiny of, you know, Alan Godden and Melanie Whelans as, you know, the head referees in the tournament. And, you know, just like we scrutinise the players and as coaches, we want the best out of them. They're the referee coaches, and they're trying to get their referees to develop. And of course, that's probably one of the most important things in the whole game is having decent referees, because then the players learn to play to that international standard, learn what they can and can't do. And you know, if you have quality referees like we've got on the floor at the moment, making good decisions, then everybody's happy.
That's right. Well, I think as coaches, all we want is consistency, and I felt that it was consistent.
I never want consistency. I want it all to go my way, but you know, you can't have everything. And consistency is pretty much what we've got through the tournament. So.
Yeah, no. So, Bitterman going hard to the hoop. Gets the call from the referees and gets to the line for a...
Do you sense in the whole stadium, it's like everybody's sort of waiting for this game to just come alight.
Yeah, the crowd's quiet at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure I'm such a massive fan of having it in this arena because it's so open, whereas, you know, yesterday the crowd's right on top of the game. There's Gerrand with a nice basket.
Well, for those that didn't see the game yesterday, just that individual shot there just epitomises his play from yesterday.
And that too, right there, here we go.
Yeah, we're straight into it. I mean, two great players in this tournament right there. A little bit of individual basketball.
Gets a piece of the ball, saves it back, but only to Westlake. Freeman takes a long time to launch. Well, that's a jumping contest.
And you and Locke can't get the rebound, and it unfortunately it costs them.
Yes, and there's one of those easy baskets that Westlake get that you really don't, you know, just as a coach you want to get that ball in your hands and get down the other end. Too many of those are not going to work for you. Oh, and great hands there. Two great plays in a row from Hugo, is it?
Yes.
Yep. Oh, great pass from Gerrand, another easy basket. And that's that momentum swing, just small, you know, 4-point runs that are so important in that final quarter. What's the answer? Oh.
Well, that was great defense there again by Matt Freeman. You know, Bitterman to the right, coming back on the left on the spin and called for the travel.
And the shuffle of the pivot foot. 7-point game. Oh, steal. No. Oh. Blocking foul. There you go. Probably teammates in another team from Westlake. Probably picking them up.
Yeah, I would say they'd know each other play. Each other's play.
I'm pretty sure Judd should be watching this game, and I imagine they all go out to get rides with each other to the gym breakers 6 o'clock in the morning for training.
So what can Rangitoto do here? Down by 7 with 7.5 minutes to go. Do they keep this going along and then really apply the pressure in the last 2 minutes, 3 minutes, or do they have to make a run somewhere?
Well, first of all, they've got to get a couple of stops and get score pressure. They need a swing to go their way.
Yeah.
And if they can get a swing of 4 to 6 points, really put the pressure on Westlake. And really, you want some offense. You want something coming out of offense, maybe an and one or something inside, going to the basket. You're getting something going to the hoop that puts Westlake under pressure, because at the moment, Westlake don't seem to be under pressure, other than that one-on-one stuff that every now and again comes off for Rangitoto.
You see Logan Hunt missing the 3 there, and yesterday he certainly hit a few of them, so disappointing for him, but...
Yeah, it's going to fall for Rokoa. Yeah. Not dropping. Stress of a final, or the expectation of a final. Freeman not feeling it? No. Oh, great outlet pass. Wynyard.
That's what you're asking your bigs.
Oh, no call. No, he's called the charge. And that's a big call, and I probably would say it'd have to be the right one. Great position on the lead there from Ryan Jones.
Well, I'll remind you that
feet were set.
When
Smart
Brent
play.
Matahari says it's the right call, I guess it is the right call, but it's not often you agree with the referees, Brent.
I had to change. I did once this week. I had to admit I was wrong, which left that sour taste in my mouth, and it was with Ryan, who called a back court. One of my players jumped out of bounds, caught it in two hands, threw it back and to our back court from the front court, and obviously he had possession of the ball with the two hands on, and I had to say, yes, you're right. But did leave that sour taste, but yeah. No, he's done well this tournament. Ryan Jones has obviously got a semi-final, actually got two, because he got the girls one. He had to come on for Grant Flanagan as a sub the referee.
Well, and in fact, the game itself is quite a technical game. There's contact allowed in certain areas, and for those people who are not too familiar with basketball,
they're probably not watching this.
Well, that may well be the case.
Oh, great take to the rack, Freeman.
But there is definitely contact allowed.
Yeah, it's whether you gain the advantage. When that's always that grey area. And a 9-point lead open up with 6 minutes to play. Looking around for help, and there isn't really anybody. This is what I call players setting up their tripods and watching the game. You know, Gareth's got that covered. He's got the tripods up at the baselines. He's watching the game. Get out and play. Get involved. Because you can't stand and watch your teammates just going to the basket.
Well, I really think Davidson needs a timeout now. He needs to be doing something.
Well, this could be it. This could be something spark, but it's a 2-on-3. Pulls up in transition, gets nothing out of it. And yes, I would be thinking, I need to talk to my team.
You've got 5.5 minutes to go. You're down 54-63 in favour of Westlake, and Greg Davidson, I'm sure, will be thinking, what can he do? He needs to be speaking to his players. Nice pass there from
Denham gets the hands in though. Oh, maybe he doesn't need the timeout now. He's got it back within 7, gets a stop. Is Freeman going to go 1-on-2, 1-on-4, 1-on-5? He does. Doesn't get anything out of it. Not a great offensive possession for Westlake. Jackson's calling someone out to sub in. And my guess, I'd be saying, oh.
And some of the players just looking a little tired at the moment.
Yeah, it's getting to the team that makes the least mistakes, isn't it? 1-on-1 here. Wynyard, Salt on Wynyard. Gives up the foul, and that'd be Ty Wynyard's 4th personal. And Davidson does want to talk it over.
So in this final at the moment, 63-56 in favour of Westlake, and Rangitoto calling the timeout. Greg Davidson wanting to have a chat to his players about the path he can take to regain some ascendancy here. Mark Jackson, I don't think he'll be looking to sit on this lead either, because in basketball things can change so quickly, and because it's a game of passion as well, and a couple of three-pointers, a couple of big stops, and the game can really swing it on a dime. So I think Mark Jackson, he'll be looking to maintain this pressure. The thing I have noticed though is Greg Davidson's team, they're in that man-to-man defence, and you really wonder if they need to put a press on at some point in time.
Yeah, something to change it up. I mean, you look at his points. It's 8-6 in the 4th quarter. You know, they've been scoring sort of, you know, Rangitoto scored 25, 8 and then 17. Then had a terrible second quarter. Westlake 12, 28 and 15. You know, this half has been really low scoring. And if one team could come out and just hit some shots, that's going to take it. You know, really, that's all it's going to take. Team to come out and hit some shots, because at the moment, no one's playing, you know, there's not really the intensity there on defense. It's 1-on-1, or it's, you know, 1-on-2 at times, and no one's taking this, grabbing this by the throat and saying, I want to win it. It's more like, I don't want to lose it.
Well, that's finals basketball. That really is finals basketball. And often the semi-finals, that's where the passion is to get to the final, and now it's a case of not losing the final. And both teams are playing like that at the moment. You see Salt on the line to take his first of his 2 free throws. And we look at Rangitoto out there, you at a lot. Denham Brook, Vidovin, Rukawa, and Davidson himself, the son of the coach. question is what can they do to get back in this game?
Well, that's Jack Salt's 9th point of the game. Gerrand leading the scorers with 24 from Westlake, and Howe with 18. Although Roko has got 30. 30, that's a quiet 30.
Roko, I mean, you just really
that's
wonder.
30 of 56.
and to be honest, you wouldn't have picked it for that, would you?
No. Oh, that's a tired shot from the free throw line. Roko are trying to get it done. Oh, contact on the arm, not called really. And he probably wanted that to go. Nothing wrong with the pull-up jump shot, I don't think. Time running out here. 8-point ball game. You feel the intensity raising. There's that expectation. On ball screen for Roko. Looks to slip. Hewitt soft to the hoop, really.
He'll be disappointed because he needed to make more of that.
Yeah, power dribble and gone up with it and try and force contact.
Well, Roko, he's been taking it to the hoop. He's been pulling up and taking some shots, and in the last minute or so, he's made a couple of nice passes to his players for the assists, and they haven't been able to
one-on-one again, but good. You know, he gets the finish. 10-point lead, 3 to go.
So Matt Freeman, he's really done quite well in this final.
Maybe it's time to put Wynyard back in the game because really you haven't got anything to lose. Tough shot over Jack Salt. This game, each coach with a couple of timeouts left here. Yep, each coach with a couple of timeouts. This last 2 minutes 50 could take a while.
It could take a while, and again, the coaches wanting to talk it over. And neither of the coaches wanting to let the other coach get an ascendancy from the scoreboard perspective. So just a 4-point swing, and I'm sure there will be a timeout to discuss what needs to be done defensively to make those adjustments. Down there, and Greg Davidson still has the whiteboard out. He's drawing out this play where he wants his players to be and how he wants them to defend. And Mark Jackson quite animated down there as well.
This is where you earn your keep as a coach, isn't it?
Well, that's right. This is the fun part, though.
Yeah. Staying in the game, whether to call a timeout, whether not to call a timeout, advancing the ball in the last 2 minutes, getting the most out of your time you have on the floor, especially if you're down. Down 8 points, haven't got possession. Are they going to extend and try and put pressure on Gerrand? He's got a lot of options up the floor trying to hit big players. Who's going to get a hand in the passing lane? Who's going to make that big play? Who's going to swing momentum? What's going to happen? Or is Westlake, for Rangitoto, is Westlake able to just grind it out and run offense and get some scores and just take the game away from Rangitoto? It's just.
So will Westlake be looking to kill the clock at this point in time, do you think?
I think you still got to score. You got to put score pressure on the opposition. Oh, there's almost a. But you certainly want to take a bit of time to do it.
Well, again, Rangitoto not really
out here
chasing,
it is. Roko, will he be too quick? And the change of hands, there it is. Goes very quickly from 8 to 6. Extended pressure. And so that hand in the passing lane, the long pass. Oh.
What's Salt got?
Salt's got a layup.
Nice left-hand finish for him too.
They're trying to keep the ball out of Roko's hands here, and that's smart. He certainly has been working hard over the last few days. A lock on Salt. Tough shot. Gets it to go in, and here we go. Here's the crowd right now. Bit of excitement. 6-point ball game. Last 2 minutes. Any timeouts advanced. Both coaches have 2 each. And there's a steal from Fittervin.
Denham-Brook with the recovery.
Denham-Brook comes up with it. Sees Davidson open for 3. No, turns it down. Denham-Brook with the ball. Sets the handoff. Roko on ball screen. Keep still. Brook. Take it. Is it good? It looks good. No, it's wide. Just long there.
Well, he had Davidson outside him, and he may have been a better option for that, but...
You'd be looking to call a timeout on the make. Oh, travel maybe. Oh, no, Nets. The and one.
And that may be one of the nails in the coffin.
Minute 30 to go. 8 points ahead. Rangitoto's in the bonus.
Wynyard comes in for Uetalot, who
Jack Salt could put this to a 9-point ball game, which would mean it's 4 possessions really.
Yep.
And I don't know that there's enough left. Misses the shot. They'll be looking for a quick one. It's a minute 30, buddy. What are you going to do? Oh, we're going to dribble it out? Oh, we'll just dribble it out. No. Oh. Oh, it's good. That's a three. Really, they should have had the ball in his hands a lot earlier, I feel.
Just over a minute to go now in this finals. 5-point game in favour of Westlake. Ball in hand.
Got the timeout on a mate. You probably want to stop though. Gerrand. Oh, it's hit the top of the backboard, has it? No. How with the offensive rebound.
And the timeout called on the make from Westlake.
And that's got to kill you. You get the missed shot and you don't get the rebound. You can be saying, hey, it's at the top of the backboard. Arguing that.
You wonder really, he just took Uetalot out of the game and maybe one of his strongest rebounders, and they gave up the offensive board to Josh Howe.
Huge offensive board. So takes it to 7.
Oh, you've got to feel for Rangitoto at this stage. They've worked so hard all week. They were here with 9 players, and they run a great program there in the North Shore.
Oh, they do. I mean, look, top 3 teams in the country came in out of the same region. They're gonna win a lot of games against a lot of schools with the talent they've got up there. Is it population?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely it is. But it's also the Breakers program as well. And whether that disadvantages other schools around the country is a case for discussion, I guess.
I guess it only disadvantages it. I mean, I've got 2 under-17s and Sam Timmins and Joe Cook-Green. If they left me to go up there, that's going to kill me. So Juddy, keep your hands off. I'll look after them. I'll make them work hard. They can come to your summer camps, but we'll put the work in down there. And I guess if you're doing it for your players back home and making sure they've got those opportunities, then I guess that's fine. But if
they're missing out on opportunities, it's always disappointing.
Yeah.
But at these guys here, they're taking every opportunity at the moment. It's fantastic to see. So Rangitoto with possession.
Well, this looks pretty slow, although they're trying to get Roko up the ball. Pull up. Oh, it's close. And trying for the rebound. Are they foul gaming? No. Yes. No. They're not foul gaming. He'll just dribble this round, will he? Oh, no. There you are. Jaylen Gerrand.
That's some class act there from
New Zealand
Jaylen Gerrand.
under-18s. Davidson for 3. Gets it. Now they're excited.
So Roko over there looked to go up for the 3 and dished it off in mid-air to Davidson, who drilled it.
There was a hooter, but for no reason.
And not looking to foul at this point in time with only 30 seconds to go in the game.
Yeah, no, why did that? Oh. And then you foul and shooting the layup. I think we're seeing another Westlake Boys High School Championship.
6 points in front, 22 seconds to go. Hard to see them getting pulled back here, especially when Jaylen Gerrand is on the line. 30-point game for him.
Ty Wynyard fouls out.
Tough luck for the big fella.
Well, he's got a time.
Cutfield comes on, not nearly the same physical presence.
A shout of MVP from the stands.
So only a modest crowd, and really, when you think about it, the stand's not full. So some of the teams may have taken the opportunity to go home. I'm not quite sure why, because this is a great occasion.
Just taking too long to get the shot off. Travel.
Bitterman can't get it to go, and that's it. That's all she wrote.
Oh, and a foul with 2.5 seconds to go in the game.
Denhambrook giving Westlake time to celebrate while still on the court. So I think, as you rightly pointed out, Brent, another final, another championship to Westlake. in the footsteps of finals in recent years.
And running the bench, giving the opportunity for Jack Salt to come off and get the high fives from his team.
Josh Howe with the ball now at the line.
If we look at the points, 35 points from Raukawa, and what a
standout effort, really.
Standout effort. The only other player in double figures is Davidson, with 16. For Westlake boys, you know, Jaylen Gerrand, 28, Howe, 20, Salt, 13, Freeman, 11. And, you know, those 4 scorers all getting in double figures, you know, and it's become, you know, a higher scoring sort of last 4 or 5 minutes. And there it is, Westlake Boys High School, 2013 national champions.
So congratulations to them over Rangitoto College, 78-68. And Arena Manawa 2 here for their 2013 National Championships basketball. I mean, a great week of basketball, and certainly a hard-fought final after a couple of very exciting semi-finals. So, you know, just in a wrap-up here, Brent, the right team won?
Yeah, I think the right team won. You know, obviously they had to get over Rosmini in the semi-final, and that was huge for them. They hadn't beaten them all season. They got it done in the semi. They came out, got the business done in this game, and, you know, crowned national champions again. Obviously, you know, huge for them, and, you know, big ups to Westlake. Only foot wrong they put was they lost to Tauranga Boys, so...
well done to them.
Aren't they amazing?
Aren't they amazing? So it is well done to Westlake in this 2013 National Championship. So from Brent Matahari and Tony Barnett, we wish you all well and enjoy the live streaming.
See you at the 13s.